Welcome back everyone, and in today's video lesson we are going to look at harmonization by sevenths. So a couple of quick notes about it. One is that harmonization by sevenths is not going to be common in dyads. It will be common in triads. Triads and tetrads. So triads and larger structures. So we'll just kind of put plus plus, right? So larger structures, things that are larger. And then interval size is also going to change, and that's something that we've seen quite a bit. So key of C major, and if we wanted to harmonize by sevenths here, what I would do is start off by looking at C and thinking, okay, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So then to harmonize the C note, I would use the B note. Then to me, what I would think of is that this whole structure here is linear. So this is a linear structure. Because it's linear, then I should be able to write out a linear set of notes for my harmonization line. And as long as it's according to the C major scale, then I should be good. Oops, I wrote B, D, right? So that should be B, C, D, E, F, G, and A, okay? And this basically is what I would use to harmonize. Now, once again, down below here, this is not the B major scale. So I said that this has to be according to the C major scale. So be very, very careful of that. I can't just write, I'm not harmonizing C major and B major. That's going to sound even worse than what sevenths already sound like. So the reason why they're not common in dyads is because they're not very pleasing to the ear unless you have them with other structures that sort of changes the balance. They're dissonant. Okay, now I did say that the interval size is going to change, so let's look at that. C to B, that would be a major seventh. D to C, minor seventh. Minor seventh. Major seventh. Minor seventh. Minor seventh. And minor seventh. And so once again, here we can see that we've got minor, 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 minor. Actually, we have more majors. Should have been smarter to underline the majors instead. And so we can see the interval size is definitely changing. Let's look at another example. In this case, the key of D flat major. If I were to think about the seventh degrees there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And so to harmonize the D flat note, I would use a C note. To harmonize E flat, I would use D flat, right? Why? Because this structure is linear, meaning it's just all in a row. So therefore, I'm just going to rewrite the D flat major scale starting from C. So that's what I'm going to do. C, D flat, E flat, F, G flat, A flat, B flat. Okay, so another quick note about this. Do I have to put my harmonization note above my root note? In other words, if I have, going back to maybe an easier example, if I have C, does C have to go down on the bottom, like the root note? Let's say the bass is playing that, and does my harmonization need to be above it? And the answer is no. It just depends on the situation. You might have it below it as well. Okay, so it's really up to you. You can do either one, and it's still going to sound like a seventh. Okay, so it's still gonna have that feel to it. So it can be above your root note or below your root note, but you just have to be careful when it's below the root note, because sometimes, even though technically it's okay, sometimes it can interfere with the root note and it kind of muddles the message. And sometimes you're hearing something and you go, yeah, but it's not as clear as I would really like it to be. So that is what harmonization by sevenths looks like. And so what we notice is that the interval size definitely changes. It's not common in dyads because it's a little bit dissonant, and so it doesn't sound that great. If you just have smaller structures, if you have larger structures, we tend to change that balance of dissonance because we have more consonant structures there, and so it changes that entire balance. And we recognize that if something is nonlinear from other videos, what we want to do immediately is change it to something that is linear. And so if we have a nonlinear structure, we determine the key, we change it to linear so we can write out something like this, and once we have that, we know what to harmonize each note by.